Marcus Garvey was the first black man to come into this country and get a mass movement, an allegiance, support of the masses of black people. Why? Because Garvey didn't care what the white man thought. Garvey didn't care how the white man felt. Garvey had the feelings of the black man at heart. Garvey had the hopes and aspirations of the black man at heart, and the black masses detected this. They felt this. They were conscious of this. So they gave Garvey their support. And anyone today who can get a following among the masses of black people in this country is immediately labeled by the United States government as un-American, as seditious, as subversive.
This video will explore the life of who many believe was the most dangerous black man in America and why anyone like him could never exist again. From the dusty streets of St. Ann's Bay to the bustling neighborhoods of Harlem, Marcus Garvey's journey was one of profound transformation and unwavering resolve. His vision and tenacity laid the groundwork for a movement that would inspire generations of black leaders and thinkers. His story is a testament to the power of self-belief, community, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Make sure you hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born on August 17, 1887, in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica. The youngest of 11 children, Garvey's parents were of modest means. His father, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Sr., was a stonemason, and his mother, Sarah Jane Richards, was a domestic worker and farmer. Despite their economic hardships, his parents emphasized the importance of education and self-respect. Garvey's early exposure to books and learning came from his father's extensive library, where he spent countless hours reading about history, culture, and politics. This early intellectual stimulation would shape his worldview and ignite a passion for learning and self-improvement. Garvey attended local schools in Jamaica until he was 14, when he left to apprentice at his godfather's printing business in Kingston. This experience introduced him to the world of journalism and activism. He joined the Print Workers Union, where he first encountered the harsh realities of racial discrimination and class oppression. In 1907, Garvey participated in a printer's strike that, although unsuccessful, deepened his understanding of labor issues and the plight of the working class. This period was pivotal in shaping his political consciousness and desire to fight for social justice. Seeking broader horizons, Garvey traveled to Central and South America in 1910. He worked as a timekeeper on a banana plantation in Limon, Costa Rica, and later moved to Panama and Ecuador. During his travels, he observed the deplorable conditions under which black workers lived and worked. These experiences further solidified his resolve to advocate for the rights and dignity of people of African descent. Garvey's journey continued to London in 1912, where he worked for the African Times and Orient Review. In London, he attended Birkbeck College, studying law and philosophy. He also had the opportunity to meet with influential African and Caribbean intellectuals, including Dusé Muhammad Ali, an Egyptian-British journalist and Pan-Africanist. These interactions expanded Garvey's understanding of global black struggles and inspired him to develop a comprehensive vision for black empowerment. Garvey returned to Jamaica in 1914 with a burning desire to unite and uplift people of African descent. He founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, known as the UNIA, with the motto, "One God, One Aim, One Destiny." The UNIA's goals were ambitious: to promote black unity, self-reliance, and the establishment of an independent black nation in Africa.
It is for me to inform you that the Universal Negro Improvement Association is an organization that seeks to unite into one solid body the 400 million Negroes of the world, to link up the 15 million Negroes of the United States of America with the 20 million Negroes of the West Indies, the 40 million Negroes of South and Central America with the 280 million Negroes of Africa, for the purpose of bettering our industrial, commercial, educational, social, and political conditions.
Garvey's charismatic leadership and powerful oratory quickly garnered attention. However, he faced significant resistance from the colonial authorities in Jamaica, who viewed his message as subversive. Undeterred, Garvey realized that to achieve his grand vision, he needed to reach a larger audience. The rise of black nationalism. In 1916, Garvey traveled to the United States, arriving in Harlem, New York. Harlem was the epicenter of the burgeoning African-American cultural renaissance, and Garvey's arrival coincided with a period of significant social and political ferment. Garvey expanded the UNIA's reach in America, advocating for black pride, economic independence, and self-determination. He launched a newspaper, the Negro World, which became an influential platform for disseminating his ideas and galvanizing support. The paper featured articles on Black history, culture, and achievements, countering the pervasive negative stereotypes perpetuated by mainstream media. Garvey's message of Black nationalism resonated deeply with African Americans who faced systemic racism, economic disenfranchisement, and social marginalization. He urged them to take pride in their heritage, support Black-owned businesses, and aspire to build an independent nation in Africa. Black nationalism is a socio-political and economic ideology that advocates for the unity and self-determination of Black people, especially in the context of achieving independence from oppressive structures and systems. The roots of Black nationalism can be traced back to the resistance against slavery and colonialism. Early expressions of Black nationalism were evident in the efforts of enslaved Africans to preserve their cultural heritage, and in the leadership of figures such as Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, and Gabriel Prosser, who led slave revolts in the United States. Black nationalism gained intellectual and organizational momentum. Many advocated for the emigration of Black people to Africa to escape the brutal conditions in America and to build autonomous communities. The key tenets of Black nationalism are self-determination, economic independence, cultural pride, Pan-Africanism, resistance to oppression. Marcus Garvey, the entrepreneur. Garvey was not just a visionary leader, he was also a pragmatic entrepreneur. He understood that economic independence was crucial for achieving true liberation. To this end, he established several business ventures aimed at fostering Black economic self-sufficiency. A central theme in Garvey's economic philosophy was cooperative economics, the idea that Black people should pool their resources to create and sustain their own businesses. This collective approach was intended to maximize economic power and reduce the vulnerabilities associated with individual ventures. Marcus Garvey spearheaded several business initiatives under the banner of the UNIA, all aimed at fostering economic independence and self-reliance among Black communities. These initiatives were part of his broader vision for Black empowerment and the creation of a self-sustaining economic system. One of Garvey's most ambitious ventures was the establishment of the Negro Factories Corporation. Founded in 1919, the NFC was designed to build a network of Black-owned and operated businesses. The goal was to create jobs, produce goods, and provide services within the Black community, reducing reliance on white-owned businesses and fostering economic self-sufficiency. The NFC aimed to establish various enterprises including factories, grocery stores and restaurants, laundry services and tailoring shops. Garvey also understood the power of the media in shaping public opinion and mobilizing communities. In 1918, he founded the Negro World, a weekly newspaper that served as the voice of the UNIA. The newspaper disseminated Garvey's ideas on Black nationalism, economic independence, and Pan-Africanism. It also highlighted the achievements and struggles of Black people worldwide, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. The Negro World reached a global audience, circulating in North America, the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa. It was published in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, and French, ensuring that its message resonated across different regions. Through the Negro World, Garvey was able to galvanize support for his economic initiatives and political goals, creating a platform for Black voices and perspectives that were often marginalized in mainstream media. Another significant aspect of Garvey's economic endeavors was the African Communities League, founded in 1918. The ACL was the business arm of the UNIA and focused on developing commercial enterprises that could support the organization's broader mission. The ACL aimed to promote Black-owned businesses and encourage investment within the African diaspora. Marcus Garvey's most ambitious entrepreneurial venture was the Black Star Line. In 1919, Garvey founded the Black Star Line, a shipping company intended to facilitate trade and transportation between Africa and the African diaspora. The Black Star Line symbolized a tangible manifestation of his dream to connect people of African descent worldwide and promote economic cooperation. The Black Star Line began operations with the purchase of its first ship, the SS Yarmouth, later renamed the SS Frederick Douglass. This ship was intended to serve as a symbol of Black pride and capability. Garvey and the UNIA raised funds for the venture through stock sales, appealing to Black individuals and communities to invest in their collective economic future. At its peak, the Black Star Line owned 3 ships, SS Frederick Douglass, SS Shadyside, and the SS Antonio Maceo. Despite the high hopes and enthusiasm surrounding the Black Star Line, the venture faced significant obstacles from the outset. From the outset, the ships were old and often in poor condition, leading to frequent breakdowns and costly repairs. Because of the audacious venture, an idea for a shipping vessel was great, but that was not a field of expertise. The UNIA lacked maritime expertise within the organization, leading to inefficiencies and financial losses. The Black Star Line also faced opposition and sabotage from both external and internal sources. White business interests and rival black leaders viewed Garvey's project as a threat and worked to undermine it. Ultimately, the Black Star Line struggled to stay afloat and was dissolved in 1922. Nevertheless, the NFC and Black Star Line represented a significant step towards economic empowerment and set a precedent for future black-owned businesses. Marcus Garvey believed that economic empowerment was intrinsically linked to education. To this end, he led the establishment of schools and educational programs designed to teach black children and adults the skills necessary for economic independence. These institutions emphasized vocational training, business skills, and cultural pride, aiming to equip the black community with the tools needed to thrive economically and socially. Understanding the importance of self-sufficiency in food production, Garvey also initiated agricultural projects. These ventures aimed to establish farming communities where black people could cultivate their own food, thus reducing dependency on external sources and fostering economic resilience. He also recognized the need for stable and affordable housing within black communities. Garvey sought to develop housing projects that would provide black families with secure living conditions. These initiatives aimed to combat the discriminatory practices that often left black people with limited and substandard housing options. Want good luck? Share this video with 5 people for good luck for the next 5 years. The most dangerous black man. Since the abolishment of slavery, any black movement that gained momentum in the direction of liberation for black Americans has been met with fierce resistance. Marcus Garvey was one of the first black leaders considered the Black Messiah by the U.S. government. Garvey's rapid rise to prominence and his bold vision of black empowerment attracted the attention of the U.S. government. The Bureau of Investigation, the predecessor of the FBI, began monitoring his activities, viewing him as a potential threat to national security. J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the Bureau, was particularly concerned about Garvey's influence and sought to undermine his efforts. The Bureau infiltrated the UNIA, planted informants, and used various tactics to discredit and destabilize the organization. J. Edgar Hoover played a significant and often contentious role in the history of black leaders in the United States. His tenure was marked by aggressive surveillance, infiltration, and attempts to undermine various black leaders and organizations, including Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and the Black Panther Party. This approach was part of his broader strategy to combat what he perceived as radical threats to American society. One of Hoover's early targets was Marcus Garvey. Believing that Garvey's influence posed a threat to social order, Hoover orchestrated a campaign to discredit and dismantle Garvey's movement. Under Hoover's direction, the Bureau began its first major surveillance program against a black leader, gathering extensive information on Garvey's activities. Hoover's relentless campaign against black leaders had profound and lasting impacts. His actions contributed to the weakening and fragmentation of several influential movements and organizations. Unfortunately, in 1923, Garvey was arrested and charged with mail fraud in connection with the Black Star Line. Despite weak evidence and allegations of a politically motivated prosecution, he was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Garvey's imprisonment marked a significant blow to the UNA and the broader black nationalist movement. This effectively ended Garvey's influence in the U.S., and he was eventually deported to Jamaica. Garveyites. Despite the challenges and setbacks, Marcus Garvey's impact on the global black consciousness was profound and enduring. His ideas and activism inspired numerous leaders and movements that followed. Garvey's ideas influenced the establishment of black-owned banks, businesses, and cooperatives throughout the 20th century and beyond. His vision of a self-sustaining black economy remains relevant today, as contemporary movements continue to address economic disparities and advocate for the financial empowerment of black communities worldwide. Marcus Garvey's impact has influenced and impacted many who carried his baton of black nationalism. Malcolm X was one of Garvey's most direct ideological descendants. Malcolm's parents were active members of the UNA, and his father, Earl Little, was a Garveyite preacher. The principles of black pride, self-reliance, and Pan-Africanism that Malcolm X espoused were deeply rooted in Garvey's teachings. Although Martin Luther King Jr.'s approach to civil rights was markedly different from Garvey's, King acknowledged Garvey's contributions to the struggle for black dignity and empowerment. King recognized that Garvey's emphasis on racial pride and economic independence laid important groundwork for the civil rights movement. Garvey's influence extended beyond the United States. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana and a leading figure in the African independence movement, credited Garvey's writings with inspiring his vision of a united and liberated Africa. In Jamaica, Rastafarians revered Garvey as a prophet who foretold the coming of a black king, Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. The movement's emphasis on African identity and resistance to oppression drew heavily on Garvey's ideas. In the 1960s and 1970s, the Black Power movement in the United States echoed many of Garvey's themes. Leaders like Stokely Carmichael and organizations like the Black Panther Party embraced Garvey's calls for self-determination, economic independence, and cultural pride. The Black Panther Party called for black self-determination, community control, and economic independence. They emphasized the need for cultural pride and the rejection of assimilation into white society. Marcus Garvey's life was a tapestry of ambition, struggle, and resilience. His dream of a unified and empowered black race faced immense obstacles, but his vision and determination left an indelible mark on history. Garvey's legacy is a testament to the power of belief in oneself and one's people, a beacon of hope for those who continue to fight for justice and equality. Through his pioneering efforts in black nationalism, his entrepreneurial ventures, and his unwavering advocacy for black pride and self-reliance, Garvey paved the way for future generations. His story is a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can rise, inspire, and transform the world.